But right now, I want to talk baseball because Jay Jaffe is back with us via Zoom. We've got games going on right now. We got games tonight here on 600 ESPN El Paso. And Jay's backdrop is a historic Yankee Stadium, which unfortunately is empty at this time, Jay, because the Yankees are not playing right now. I know fans are upset in the Bronx. They wish they were right now going up against the dreaded Houston Astros, the cheaters, as everybody likes to say. Yeah. But instead, it's the Boston Red Sox.
Yes, you've seen right through the artifice of my fake background here.
Yes.
a lot of anger in New York. There's still over the Yankee season, and mixed reviews over the news that Aaron Boone's coming back for another got a 3-year contract here. I think it was probably the right move. I think that the expectations that people have over that there being some kind of bloody reckoning with what happened to the wild card game is kind of nostalgia for a miserable time under George Steinbrenner is misplaced. But I do think the Yankees are going to have to win pretty soon before Boone's going to avoid the chopping block.
I agree with you. And meanwhile, we got a game going on right now with that Red Sox Astros series tied at 2. This is such a great swing game. Game 5 could go either way. I look at yesterday's game and ultimately that Jason Castro at bat. Nate Eovaldi thought he had strike 3. I saw the replay. It looked like it caught the outside corner of the plate, but ruled the ball. Castro gets the big hit on the next pitch, and before you know it, the floodgates open up, and Houston's right back in the series. And we could point to a close call by the ump, but in the meantime, I think a lot of people are also questioning Alex Cora bringing in Nate Eovaldi in the first place. And there's been a lot of very questionable managerial moves in this postseason, Jay, that's come back to haunt some teams.
Yeah, I think there's nothing that opens up a manager to more criticism than when he brings in a reliever and that reliever doesn't do the job and makes a mess of it. And that goes exponential. That's exponentially true when he deviates from the norm of calling in his 7th, 8th, 9th inning guys. If you go with the starter, you do something else unorthodox, you're gonna get killed for it if it doesn't work out. And in this case, it didn't work out for the Red Sox. I'm not really sure I like the Eovaldi move to begin with. I know he has some experience as a reliever. I know the Red Sox fondly point back to that World Series game that he pitched an extra 6 innings and extra innings or whatever. I didn't see the logic of this particular move, but what I really didn't see was bringing in Martin Perez with the bases loaded, and you're already in trouble. Perez is a replacement level guy at this point. Couldn't do anything against the Astros. That's the last guy I want in there on that staff.
No, that's a great point. And by the way, I will say this. One of my favorite new Twitter handles that I didn't know about until recently is, of course, the umpire scorecard Twitter handle. I love that. Every time they basically break down the home plate ump for each game and give you their missed calls, their accuracy, their overall consistency. And Laz Diaz had a bunch yesterday. Let's just put it that way. And he was 86% inside the zone, 88% outside the zone. I know the website is a couple of stat guys that have put this thing together, but it's fascinating when you really start to look at it and see ultimately how accurate or not accurate a lot of these home plate umps are in big games and big moments like this.
Yeah, and to me, I keep coming back to this, and I've said this on a couple of radio spots today, but I really think that Major League Baseball and the Umpires Union have to do a better job of selecting the umpires for these marquee series. You've got some of the worst ball and strike callers in the business working in these games, and it's a lot of it has to do with seniority, and it's just not good for the sport when you've got a Laz Diaz or a Jerry Meals who worked the plate yesterday in the Dodgers game and had some questionable calls that Walker Buehler didn't like, and is rated as, I think, the lowest in inaccuracy for balls and strikes. And this is not good for the sport at all. You gotta get better umpires in there, and I know that you're stretched a little bit because you've got the 6-man staffs instead of the 4-man staffs, and you've got 4 6-man crews at the beginning of the postseason, so you've got a lot of extra assignments there. but they've got to get better than this.
Mhm.
I know that the goal, I think it's in some quarters, is to have the robot umpires sometime down the road. That presents its own set of problems. I don't know if it's going to be as satisfactory as some people would like to believe, and as I have called for myself. But we need only look at instant replay and how that's played out to know that there are unintended consequences every time you bring in a new technology.
Here's the issue. So, I mean, robot umps sound great in terms of balls and strikes, but what if there's a close play at the plate? How does that then get determined?
Well,
you've still got
a live body out there who's doing the other things that an umpire would do at home plate.
Mhm.
Calling the plays or whatever.
Yeah.
Also dealing with check swing calls and things like that.
He would just get buzzed in, probably balls or strikes based on a computer or something like that. And then he would call the pitch based on what he's given. Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Hey, you wrote about the Mookie Betts deal today at Fangraphs.com and talked about what that's done for both the Dodgers and the Red Sox since. Are you surprised that as far as the Red Sox go, one of the guys that was kind of a throw-in in this trade, Kike Hernandez, has turned into Mr. October for Boston and simply becoming a cult hero right now for the Red Sox nation. And yet you look at how great Mookie is, big hit after big hit. All he's doing is continuing to build on his Hall of Fame career. And yet the Red Sox seem, at least on the surface, like they've gotten enough back in return to at least be where they are right now, playing in the championship series and a couple of wins away from going to the World Series.
Well, okay, first of all, Kike was not in that deal. He was a free agent signing this winter.
That's right.
But he's a great story, and he has had a huge season for the Red Sox, and I don't think anybody could have foreseen remarkable. I am surprised that the Red Sox were able to turn it around after going 24-36 last year, turn it around so quickly. I did not think they got a great return for Betts. Alex Verdugo looks to me like a league average player, inexpensive, can do some things, but is never, hits the ball on the ground a lot. It doesn't have that big power. It doesn't have the glove to play center field, and so he's kind of, a lightweight, as a left fielder, not unlike Andrew Benintendi, even at his best, before things fell apart for him in Boston. But
that was straight up, right? That was a straight up deal, Verdugo for Betts.
Well, there were two other prospects in the trade. I mean, there was originally a three-team deal that involved the Twins, but that part fell apart because of Brewster Gratterall's medicals, and so it became a two-team deal. David Price went to the Red Sox. Went to the Dodgers, and two prospects, including Jeter Downs, went to the Red Sox. He had a terrible season and is slipping out of the top 100. But the Red Sox, they made up for it by making some other astute additions. Kike being one of them. Hunter Renfroe, another good pickup for them. Nick Pivetta. Some of these go back to last year. Christian Arroyo. Some of these go back to last year, but they've gotten good bang for the buck that's helped them overcome some of the bigger salaries and lesser returns. I do think, though, that it's strange to see a marquee franchise like the Red Sox operating like they're the Rays, like they're suddenly the New England Rays. And who knows, once you've traded Mookie Betts, who knows what you're going to do next? Are you going to trade JD Martinez so you can re-sign Kyle Schwarber? Are you going to trade Xander Bogaerts to save a few dollars here and there and sign some pitching? It's not, I'm not really entirely comfortable with the ramifications of what they did, but they are right now 2 wins from a World Series berth and winning papers over a lot of ill feelings over who got let go. So in some ways they're validating their own decision making.
If the Dodgers play the Red Sox, it would be kind of ironic, wouldn't it, having Mookie Betts going up against his old team?
Oh, a big storyline there, obviously. I think that there are a lot of reasons why Major League Baseball would love that matchup, not the least of which is to get people off of talking about the Astros and their cheating. Not that the Red Sox hands are clean either, but that scandal, I don't think, has permeated the public consciousness in the same way.
I'll say this: the Astros are a tough team, man. They seem to just have 9 lives. They have guys that just keep clawing and scratching their way back into it. And I've got a soft spot for Dusty Baker. I'd still like to see Dusty eventually, get that World Series ring as a manager.
Yeah, I think, the Dusty Baker move was a very smart hire. And I think there's a lot of people, who otherwise might be angry at the Astros who have a lot of empathy for Dusty and, and think that he's done a great job there. Um, he may well pull this off. The Astros, they are a very tough lineup. They don't strike out very often compared to other teams. They're capable of stringing together these long rallies. I know people are going to be suspicious about how they get it done, and that's their problem. That's the Astros' problem, not my problem. I'm not going to sit here and persuade you that they've solved all the problems that created by the replay system. But I think that they are a tough team to play, and that much is very clear.
You can follow Jay Jaffe on Twitter at J_Jaffe. Check out his work at Fangraphs.com as we continue here on the program. All right. Hey, let's talk Dodgers Braves series. This one's been a lot of fun to watch so far. And I mean, the Braves look like they had the Dodgers dead and buried. And then all of a sudden, Cody Bellinger hits one of the biggest home runs in that franchise postseason history. And there's been some good ones. Just to ask Kirk Gibson about that. But nonetheless, the Dodgers have life all of a sudden. And instead of being down 3-0, it's a 2-1 series, and they can even it up tonight with Julio Urias on the mound.
Yeah, that comeback last night was something incredible. I think I saw a stat that the Dodgers had in 82 years worth of postseason games had never come back from 3 runs or more in the 8th inning or later. That's how unique that was. Big moment for Bellinger, who had just a dreadful injury-racked season, but has made some changes. We have an article up at Fangraphs by one of my colleagues looking at the visuals of the changes he made, moving closer to the plate, adjusting his stride a bit, and he's really had a lot of competitive at bats in key spots. You looked at the wild card game, he set up the Chris Taylor home run. You looked at Game 5, he got the go-ahead hit. Now this just a different player than he was during the season.
Jay, the Braves have been awfully good, though, in this series and in this postseason right now. And you know what? They might just shrug this off and still come back and beat the Dodgers in this series and move on to the World Series. I mean, I've been impressed with guys like Austin Riley, who just keeps getting better and better. Of course, you got the vets like Freddie Freeman. The pitching's been solid. It just seems like Atlanta's built for this run as well.
They overcame a lot this season. They lost Ronald Acuna Jr., one of the very best players in all of baseball, for the season due to an ACL tear just before the All-Star break. They also lost Marcell Ozuna, one of their big bats, to a domestic violence suspension. Mike Soroka, whom they expected to be in the rotation, never came back from an Achilles injury. But they have got some good young starting pitching that's very impressive. Max Fried is very good. Ian Anderson had a rough outing the other day, but he's very good. Charlie Morton, Dodgers, had him on the ropes and he kept evading them. One of the best big game pitchers in all of baseball right now. The Braves came in very set up for this because they got their series done in 4. They've got healthy arms. Today they're going to have to piece it together. Huascar Ynoa, who they had planned to use as an opener, is out with shoulder inflammation. So they're going to use Jesse Chavez and then Drew Smiley. This is a good opportunity for the Dodgers to even the series here. They've got a bullpen game coming tomorrow. We'll see if they survive that, but really has turned into a very competitive series. I mean, remember, the Braves won the first 2 games last year and were up 3-1, and it took the Dodgers really pulling it together there in order to advance. Can they do it again? We're about to find out. But the ripple effect that the Max Scherzer usage in Game 5 of the division series has continued to resonate with some questionable pitching decisions and some shortages on the staff. And Dave Roberts has to navigate around that, and hasn't always been successful.
I wonder also going with Knebel instead of Urias in Game 5 against the Giants, but Urias pitches Friday, pitches Sunday, pitching again today. So you look at 3 times in less than a week and what that could mean right now. Difficult. I know he was great during the year, but ultimately when you throw him in relief and then throw him back as a starter and pitch him every couple of days, you're asking a lot of a young arm like that to come through each time.
Yeah, I mean, Urias has shown his versatility, but I thought the other day bringing him in the eighth inning was a bridge too far. The Dodgers have a very strong bullpen that has right-handers who can get left-handers out. They've got an extra left-hander in the bullpen now. They added Justin Brule after the division series. They ought to be able to get through that without calling upon a starter. They have to hope that outing did not have the same ill effects on him that Max Scherzer's did on his outing and his subsequent reports of a dead arm.
You want to give me a crystal ball prediction of what you think is going to be our World Series matchup when it's all said and done?
Boy, I think the Astros are going to get through it. I think we could end up with a rematch of 2017, but it's going to take a lot for that to happen here. I would not be surprised if the Braves get past the Dodgers or if the Red Sox get past the Astros. These series are both tight. We've seen a lot of back and forth, but I think the stronger teams will win. But we're talking like 55-45 odds here, not slam dunks by any stretch.
It almost seems like it's too close to call at this point because these series are so even.
Yeah. It's the coin tosses.
Let's wrap it up. Beer pick of the week. What would like to profile, Jay?
Okay, this is Jack's Abbey. Let's see if I can get that to show up.
It's okay. It looks.
Jack's Abbey Post Shift Pilsner. It's kind of disappearing on the green screen there. This is a 16-ounce Pilsner, 4.7% ABV. I may have talked about this recently before, but I've been drinking a lot of it, comparatively speaking, lately. Jack's Abbey is out of, where are they located? Framingham, Massachusetts. And they specialize in lagers, and they do a lot of really good ones, from dark lagers to more traditional ones. And I quite like this Post Shift Pilsner because I can find it at my grocery store. It's fairly reasonably priced, and it's got a little grassy, a little lemony, a little honey to it. Just a good German style Pilsner.
Very nice. Enjoy it. Enjoy the games, and we'll look forward to having you back with us on the show next Wednesday, Jay.
All right. Sounds great, Steve. Thanks a lot.